Good morning. Buenos dias. We're finally here. It is a real pleasure to welcome you to the WHO's second global conference on air pollution and health, co-organized with the government of Colombia. We welcome you to this beautiful and historic city of Cartagena de las Indias in Colombia at the heart of the Americas. Welcome. My name is Gerry Eikemans. I am the Director of the Department of Social and Determinants for Health Equity at the Pan American Health Organization, and I will be the Master of Ceremony for the opening session this morning. English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, so if you don't have your headset, please go get it if you need it. So first, a few housekeeping rules. As usual, now please keep your phones on silent or vibration mode while we have the sessions going on. Try not to walk out while people are in the middle of their presentation. That's always a bit unpleasant, we all know that. So we have breaks and meals organized. The coffee breaks are from 11 to 11:30 in the morning. The lunch is from 1 to 2, and the coffee break in the afternoon is from 4 to 4:30. Refreshments are also located at the foyer outside of the auditorium and El Salón Barraonas. And lunch will be served at Claustro de las Animas. So we have emergency exits, as you can all see. Follow the exit signs if anything is needed and follow staff directions. Wi-Fi access, the network is CCCI. I'm going to go a little slower on that because this is important for everyone. And the password is Cartagena. So as I already mentioned, there is interpretation. If you don't have your machines yet, please get them. Spanish on channel 1, English channel 2, Portuguese on channel 3, and French on channel 4. Again, welcome and bienvenidos. So we have a very exciting 3 days ahead. And actually, some of us already participated in activities yesterday. I hear they were all very successful. We organized one for the Americas where we had 18 countries from the region together working on a roadmap, and it was a big success. So this meeting, this second global conference on air pollution and health, accelerating action for clean air, clean energy access, and climate change mitigation, is organized by the World Health Organization in coordination with the Republic of Colombia. This conference is uniting over 750 participants. You wouldn't say because this is such a huge room, but there's a lot of us, including ministers of health, of environment, senior government officials, mayors, local authorities, field experts, and high-level representatives from the UN, civil society organization, other stakeholders, and all with this collective goal to drive and to accelerate action to enhance air quality, to protect health. We know that air pollution is the leading cause of disease and death. We're going to hear a lot about that. And for mortality, it is the second leading risk factors, even larger than tobacco, and only surpassed by hypertension. And as we know, these diseases and deaths are preventable. And we also know that air pollution disproportionately affects and impacts population in situation of vulnerability, the poor, and others that are already left behind. And this is particularly important while we gather in this region in the Americas, the most unequal region of the world. So the urgency for action is clear. But so is our commitment, so is the determination of all of you, all of us gathered today. We will hear from experiences from around the world, promising ones, but also and showing that it's possible to make progress fast. But we will also be able to discuss the challenges, and there are also many, and how to overcome them. I also hope you all will have the opportunity to visit some of the installations that were organized around the conference, such as the air pollution pods, lots of beautiful art around Cartagena that was created specially for this event, all made possible by our wonderful partners. So in this opening ceremony, you will hear from the authorities from Colombia, from the World Health Organization and the Pan American Health Organization, followed by a beautiful display of culture of Colombia, of Cartagena. So now it's my distinguished honor to introduce our panel here. Dr. Jaime Orrego, Vice Minister for the Ministry of Health and Social Protection from the Government of Colombia. Dr. Maria Neira, Director of Environment, Climate Change and Health at the World Health Organization. And Dr. Gina Tambini, the PAHO WHO representative for Colombia. Please, let's welcome them. So first, I'm going to ask Dr. Orrego from the Ministry of Health in Colombia to give us his welcoming remarks. Dr. Orrego.
Muy buenos días para todas y todos.
Good morning, everyone. I want to introduce and I want to provide greetings on behalf of the President of Colombia, Mr. Gustavo Petro Orrego, Minister Guillermo Alfonso Jaramillo, Minister of Health, and on my own as a Vice Minister of Health in Colombia, Vice Minister of Health and Social Protection from Colombia. I want to greet Maria Neira from the World Health Organization, Dr. Jerry from the PAHO, and Gina Tambini, our representative from PAHO and WHO Colombia, and of course, all of you as delegates, representatives, I understand, of more than 60 countries that are here with us today. In this great meeting to give and provide a significant step in the struggling against air pollution, or the right for a good air quality, for the advancement of energy transition, and the mitigation of climate change. These are all phenomena, all of them interrelated. I would like these opening words, I want to highlight that this is a great opportunity that we can concentrate our efforts in the analysis of what's going on with the relationship between the air, polluted air. But we all agree that here we need to have an holistic vision and we need to understand why the air is polluted. And this takes us to reflect about that's not so long, but one of the most important statements of this government administration on head of Gustavo Petro, who has driven leadership around the world against climate change, mitigation and adaptation, and climate justice. We cannot examine or act or develop concrete actions without a reading, a framework that will ask about the meaning of life, land, territory. What means the struggle for social justice and climate justice. We can talk about figures that all of you know, numbers of the 7 million of deaths around the world, etc. But more than talking about this, what we are facing is to a great catastrophe of the planet, that if it's not addressed from this perspective, the concrete actions on air, or sovereign health, or food or water, as a matter of many other aspects, still it will be disarticulated. This is why in these opening words and remarks, as we want to tell you as a message, is that this space, this working space around air, has to be contextualized in what it means, the development model around economy and fossil fuels. What this means are the transport matrices, productive matrices that with lots of difficulties are transformed and are less transformed within the inequality framework around the planet, and facing difficulties, additional difficulties, because we have talked about the need to raise evidence, and this is what you have done. Your countries, your societies, your universities, all these social organizations raising evidence to make this demonstration. Today we are facing new challenges in which all the narratives that underestimate the value of science allowed to make some expressions that are going more negativeness towards climate change, but maybe is what most concerns us, trying to impose a new ethics, new values where there's no evidence, but despite the fact that there's evidence, other interests are more important. So this concern, we need to have it really clear because we cannot renounce and we cannot leave aside the social organization, but cannot leave aside the science development and the evidence. More than 2,000 studies we saw yesterday about fracking and its terrible impact on human health and public health are a conductant evidence. However, other types of logics not based on scientific evidence continue moving forward. So therefore, there's a dispute about the development models around the economy, extractivist economy. This means not giving a step forward in terms of energy transition and therefore about any adaptation to climate change. Latin America, particularly Colombia, we've become, unfortunately, in one of the territories where we are more violating human rights on environment and territory. And may this be the opportunity to honor that leaders that in the Americas, but particularly in Colombia, that has almost 50% of victims, raise their voice, raise the voice of communities to advocate for water, for life, for the territory, against fracking. But these voices seems to be silent. However, this event is hope, because this is the possibility to accelerate the agenda. 2018, we did the first steps. We had this public agenda, and this is really valuable. However, maybe there are not so much outcomes after 7 years. This is why the decision of you coming to Colombia, that we are really grateful to the World Health Organization. This is a great opportunity. We don't want this event to be one more event, but we can really have a yesterday and a today and for the future a committed agenda with human rights, with the territory rights, with all the rights of everyone, but particularly of the most vulnerable by many, many around the world. The agenda is really enrichful. First, scientific evidence, then successful experiences, and the third day, the political commitment. This is a paradigm of how we can act in the society. However, I insist that we need to warn the threat of some narratives and practices that today are leading against the multilateral architecture of the global architecture, which is our referral and benchmark after the Second World War, to keep peace, to fight against human rights, to acknowledge diversities, rights of territories. It seems that today these are narratives, concrete narratives that are not updated with not good willingness, but this is the dispute. This conference cannot be marginated of what's going on right now in the planet. There's a value crisis that wants to harm the people. I repeat again, the global architecture based on human rights. We need to emphasize this struggle and fight for clean air, for life, for territories, moves to reivindicate and to warn and alert all societies, all organizations or leaders about the need of being toward an advocate for their human rights. As a principle, we are forecasting that Mr. President can be on Thursday to close this conference, to close the political event of this great conference. We will see how the agenda of Mr. President Gustavo Petro will be driven. We want to welcome you. Please enjoy this beautiful city, this beautiful territory, and that together, all together, we can build this agenda that the world requires, that the planet is asking for, and all communities that are struggling every day for a territory, healthy territory, and great success for this event.
Muchísimas gracias, Dr. Urrea.
Thank you so much, Mr. Urrego, for this welcome, hope, and reality message. Now, I want to ask Dr. Gina Tambini, representative of PAHO and WHO here in Colombia, to give some opening remarks on behalf of our director. Thank you, Jerry. Okay, good morning, each one of you today. Mr. Vice Minister of Public Health and Social Protection, Jaime Urrego, a pleasure having you with us in this important conference. Dr. Maria Neira, Director of the World Health Organization. Maria, thank you for all of this effort to make real and the possibility to perform this conference. And Dr. Jerry Igman, Director of the new department in the Pan American Health Organization, Social Determinants and Environmental Determinants to obtain equity in health around the region in the Americas. And a special greeting to each one of you for your effort that this means. Many of you crossing the Atlantic, coming from so far away, and leaving your families, your communities, for being here today. Thank you so much, because this means that there's a commitment, that there's a wish to have bonds, to unify our bonds, to have this road and journey, to have healthy spaces, clean air, that we all deserve it so much, that our families deserve it, our communities and populations as well. Greetings, special greetings to the government of Colombia, which is represented by Vice Minister of Health and Social Protection in Colombia, for the opening remarks of this conference. Thank you, Mr. Vice Minister. As you were saying, the commitment of Mr. President, Mr. Gustavo Petro, it is clear. And you, the director of the World Health Organization, stated, Dr. Tedros, whom I know Maria will express of being here in person, but there's a big acknowledgement to Colombia with the leadership of its president, has this commitment with population, with community and the planet, in order to have concrete actions with respect to the climate change. And as I was saying, we appreciate that each one of you, all delegates, representatives of these countries that are here today, but not only are representing national institutes, but scientific institutions, but also civil organizations, grassroots organizations, to be here and continue building together. We hope this space will be a space to share experiences, to establish good discussions, and be able to have this roadmap that means the protection of our planet, and most of all, take care of all the health of the population. I have the honor to introduce the video of our director from the Pan American Health Organization Regional Office of the World Health Organization in the Americas, Dr. Jarba Barbosa da Silva Jr. He wanted to be here in person during these days to share and reaffirm that commitment. I want you to hear him, because why is so important? Why we see the relevance and impact of health in our population, and most of all, that it is possible that joining efforts, we are able to move forward towards population that can live in cleaner spaces, healthier spaces, in communities that can allow well-being of the population and communities. Please, can we run the video?
Dear authorities from all the countries that are partaking from this meeting, colleagues and friends, dear authorities of Colombia that are participating, dear authorities from all the countries, to dear colleagues in PAHO and WHO. It is a pleasure for me
autoridades de Colômbia
to be able to share with all the colleagues and authorities in Colombia in this conference and all the countries participating.
é honor para mim
It is an honor
participar em la
for me to partake in the opening of the second World Conference on Air Pollution and Health. The countries in the Americas have called the global attention in global in climate change, environment, and health. If we don't work together, articulate it in a joint manner, and with awareness, we're not going to achieve our goals. Evidence is robust. Air pollution is one of the main risk factors for non-communicable diseases. Exposure to pollutants, particles, is linked to with obstructive pulmonary disease, cardiovascular, pulmonary cancer, infections, etc. Every year in the Americas, 367 new deaths occur because of air pollution and risk factors in the environment, which represents up to 20% the disease burden in the region. This is a disproportionate impact to vulnerable populations, to those that work in the most contaminated areas in the cities as well, which are frequently the urban areas that are the poorest areas. Likewise, air pollution is affecting those that have cardiovascular diseases and pulmonary diseases and respiratory diseases as a predisposition. Many people still depend on air as a source of energy to be able to cook, and they're exposed to toxics within their households, which affects mostly women and children.
are priority issues for the Pan American Health Organization. In 2024, our member states adopted the policy for strengthening equity-oriented health sector action on climate change and health. This policy supports the advancement of climate action to address the effects of climate change on health and well-being, while ensuring meaningful social participation. In addition, following the mandate of the countries, PAHO has included the elimination of the use of polluting fuels in households as part of the goals of the Disease Elimination Initiative. Finally, yesterday, in a pre-conference session, technical teams from the countries and PAHO worked together on the construction of a new Air Quality and Health Action Plan for the Americas. This plan will aim to strengthen the health sector response by establishing surveillance systems, developing regulations that protect the health, and equipping member states with the necessary tools to include health considerations in energy, transportation, and urban development policies. I would like to reiterate our commitment to providing technical cooperation to countries to advance the health and well-being of the people of the Americas. I am certain that this conference will be a pivotal step for the protection of air quality in the region and in the world, and that it will strengthen cooperation and commitments in the field of air quality and health. Thank you.
Hemos escuchado al director de la Organización Panamericana de Salud que reafirma su compromiso.
We've heard the director of PAHO to work in commitment with all the countries to be able to reach this beautiful, clean, healthy spaces and populations that oversee for the planet's health.
Gina Tambini, and to our director, PAHO, in distance. So now I have the honor to invite our dear friend, our leader, Maria Neira, to give her opening speech. Maria, welcome.
Thank you, dear Jerry, and good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. I hope that all of you who, when you came here, you didn't speak one single word of Spanish. In 3 days, this has to change. So Buenos dias is the first. We don't talk about drinking or alcohol or anything like that. Don't learn that, but it's a pleasure to be here. Allow me to be very serious first and tell you that on behalf of Dr. Tedros, the Director General of the World Health Organization, and of course, the whole team, the three levels of our organization, the regional office, we heard Dr. Jarbas, and my colleagues from the country office, a big, big thank to Colombia for hosting us. Thank you very much, Vice Minister. And as I was saying, on behalf of Dr. Tedros, he will really love to be here. He was very committed when 7 years ago, I can't believe it that it was already 7 years ago, we have the first global conference on air pollution and health. Have we advanced? Yes. Have we advanced at the level that the magnitude of the problem requires? No. And that is why this conference is so important. Dr. Tedros was very committed on the first one. On this one, he's very committed as well. He recognized that this is one of the biggest public health challenges that we are facing at the moment. I don't want to talk too much because you will hear from me, I'm afraid, very often. I don't want to bother you too much. But just one message. This meeting is about one thing. Air pollution is killing us, and it's causing diseases. And therefore, no excuses. We need to leave this room or this wonderful auditorium with progress, with ambition, with commitment, and definitely very much decided to change completely this massacre that air pollution is representing for our population. We are in Cartagena, and this is a beautiful city and a magic one. For those of you who love Gabriel García Márquez, and if you don't love him, you have a problem. This is the place where one of the most famous and beautiful and the one winner of the Nobel Prize, Cien Años de Soledad. And this is where the magic reality, la realidad mágica, was created. So this place is a magic one, and reality is here as well. So I really hope that Cartagena will provide for air pollution the very strong reality that we are confronting, but we will transform this, putting some magic work by all of us, and hopefully in a few years from now, this reality will be changed. Thank you very much for coming, and this is just starting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maria. So with this wonderful opening panel, opening session, the conference is opened, and we will want to celebrate this with some cultural Colombian Cartagena experience. Let's welcome the group Aires del Caribe, one of the most celebrated traditional folklore groups from Cartagena in Colombia. So I invite our panelists to come down. I think we're going to take away some chairs here, and then we welcome our musical group. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
primer 4, hay 2
Ok, vale.
Es cuando...
Sí, ya.
y vuelve.
No, este es para hablar.
Sí, por eso.
Muy buenas. La danza que presentaron, que se presentó a continuación, es la danza de la cumbia. Es una danza que debe su nombre a la voz africana cumbe, que significa danza de negros. Es una danza en donde se nota un coqueteo del hombre a la mujer y viceversa. Ahora presentaremos a ustedes la danza más acelerada que tiene nuestro folclore. Es aquella danza que dicen que su nombre se debe a un pez que se
The name is
consumía en la
because of
época.
a fish that was in back then, and oil was extracted from it. It's called a riverside dancing, and it's called mapale.
Muchas gracias.